Use thy voice, Sarah! Fill the sky! Bring the little brats to die!
Come, little children, I'll take thee away.
Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Horror Huddle. I'm Stacey Beth, and we have Ash here as always.
Hello.
And we are on week 2 of our Halloween edition. I know last week's video said week 2, but we got all fudged up with our just everything. Just a clusterfuck. 2016 sucks.
And trust me, it's still going on.
It's a fucking nightmare. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So hopefully this video doesn't fuck up. But anyways, we're in week 2. And before I talk about what movie we're going to discuss, we want to, of course, show our Fright Rags t-shirts.
Whoring ourselves of Fright Rags.
Mine is my favorite, my Exorcist 3
Nice.
shirt.
And this one?
Real quick, I just got in the other day my deluxe collector's edition of The Exorcist 3 from
I saw that. Yeah. Make sure to follow her on Instagram so you can see all the cool pictures. She posted one of that, and it was awesome.
Oh, it's so awesome. The DVD, the Blu-ray itself, the collector's edition, is still on sale. It's just they're out of the limited edition posters. So, got to score that one. But anyways,
mine just came out recently by Fright Rags. Also got the little poster behind me. Yes. Joe Bob Briggs from Monster Vision.
Awesome. I fucking
love it because it has his top 10 stuff, and he's like, gratuitous aardvarking.
Nice. Well, you have the poster in the back,
poster,
too,
yeah, the
right?
signed one behind me.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Oh, yeah, and I didn't have my horror koozie. I completely forgot. Damn it. Next week. But, so tonight, we're going to be talking about Hocus Pocus, 1993. We were supposed, let me preface this, we were supposed to have another guest on, but scheduling conflicts, of course, and because I wanted to have another female on, because this is a little bit of a chick flick, girly movie, and so I wanted someone else who, like, really, really enjoyed it just as much as I did. Ash is a little...
She did it, honestly, because I told her, I saw this movie 20 plus years ago, and from my memory serves correctly, I didn't necessarily like it. And she's like, well, we might want to get someone else in here that has a little bit more positive opinion of it. And I was like, yeah, probably, because it is kind of a chick flick.
Yeah, well, she couldn't make it, so we're going to make do with this anyways. I already bitched Dash out before we started filming and said, better not fucking be a negative Nancy. So we'll see. He might switch it around.
I'm doing my best here.
He might switch it around on me.
Positive or negative, I'm going to try to keep it entertaining.
It's going to be fun. It's okay. It's nice to have conflicting opinions. Okay, so this one was directed by Kenny Ortega, and I hadn't really heard of his name before, so I looked him up on IMDb. Apparently he directed a lot of TV episodes of different shows, and I guess directed like High School Musical and like Cheetah Girls and stuff. And also, the most recent thing I recognized was This Is It. Remember the Michael Jackson kind of... It was like a compilation of his interviews.
Was that the one after he died?
Yeah, it came out. I think it came out.
Yeah, okay, I remember when that came out. Yeah,
died, something like that. Yeah, so he directed that too. I was like, okay, I still don't really know his name. Of course, we all know stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, and they played the Sanderson sisters, 3 witches. Winifred, Sarah,
Kathy Najimy, you all will probably know from Sister Act and later on King of the Hill as Peggy Hill.
Yes, yes. Also stars Omri Katz, who plays Max, Thora Birch, who plays his younger sister Danny, Vanessa Shaw, who plays Allison, his little love interest, and Doug Jones played Billy Butcherson, who we don't see till the end of the movie, but of course, Doug Jones is in fucking everything.
Yeah.
And, okay, so before we go into the plot, this is not a horror movie.
No.
It's listed as a comedy, fantasy, family movie.
It's a Disney Halloween film.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. Disney Halloween.
It became this huge Halloween staple, especially with, not necessarily my generation, but people my age when it came out. Because I was about 6 years old when it came out. So that, and through the years, it's gained this cult following.
It makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And especially with females. So, all right. So the plot... it starts off in 1693 in Salem, and this teenage boy, Thackeray Binks,
played by the same guy that plays McGee in NCIS. And because I remember when I saw his face, I was like, McGeek?
Yes, but even the voice wasn't his.
Yeah, which is weird.
It was voiced, even the cat and it was actually voiced by, and you guys might remember, he was like the nerdy fucking dickhole dude from Boy Meets World, and I don't remember his name. He had glasses.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yes, he was voiced by him. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
So they dubbed over his voice, even when it was just him? Because I can understand if it was later.
They wanted to match with the cat, too. So, I don't know. It was weird. I kind of looked that up in the trivia and stuff. So, anyways, he witnesses his sister being killed by the Sanderson sisters because they want to try and gain her youth and her soul and stuff like that. And because he couldn't save her, they turned him into a black cat, like an immortal black cat. And they're then captured and hung by the townfolk.
Which, let me just say, for that period of time in Salem, hanging, they were let off easy.
Yeah, no shit, right? They should. I guess they probably can show them burning, but you know what I mean. You got to do what they can.
But still, 3 people hanging to death in a Disney film.
I know, and they show the legs hanging. So it was kind of creepy. But this movie does hit dark points in certain spots,
especially for a Disney film. That's what always got me throughout the movie, and we'll point them out. It's just there's some things that I'm like, this is a Disney film. Should they be having this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they went there, though. I guess that was the 90s. You could probably get away with stuff a little bit easier.
Well, and also it was a 90s Disney live-action movie, which are notorious for being kind of either bad or just very odd. Yeah, and this definitely comes in the odd category.
Yeah. So right before they get hung, the spell book opens up, and Winifred lets them know that they are going to be resurrected one day when a virgin lights the black flame candle. And then they get hung. So fast forward 300 years later, and we see Max Dennison, we'll go into him a little bit later, this teenager who, him and his family have moved from LA to Salem, and he's not
very
happy about
typical
it.
For a 90s movie.
Of course, yeah, right, tie-dye shirts and stuff.
Tie-dye shirts, I'm from Cali.
Yeah.
No one understands me because I'm cool.
Yeah, because apparently nobody in the East Coast has ever met anybody from the West Coast. So he meets a girl, Allison, in his school, whose family owned or used to own the old Sanderson house, which had been turned into a museum. And on Halloween night, they sneak in with his sister Danny, and in order to impress her, he lights the black flame candle, and he's a virgin, thus releasing the witchy sisters.
And let's get to the part about lighting that candle. First off, they find a lighter in this gift shop / witch's cabin, which looks like it's been sitting there for about 10 years. Yeah. First off, Zippo
we never get a time frame for when her family stopped owning.
Yeah, but even then, everything, even the shelves were covered in dust and cobwebs. So I was like, okay, let's just say 10 years. First off, Zippo lighters, when they sell them, don't come with fluid already in them. And even if they did, after 10 years, that thing would be dry.
Yeah, you would think.
Which brings me to the other. This is a Disney film. Remember, at this same time, Beavis and Butthead was getting just pulled over the coals for having Beavis trying to light a lighter and someone saying, well, it's because of that. Some kid burned down their house. This kid actually lights the lighter a few times, lights a candle. I was like, wow, kids are watching this going, wow, that's cool, lighters. And I was like,
yeah, right. Zippos. Woo!
Is this the right message to be putting out to kids?
Nah, who cares? Okay, but let's talk about a little bit about the Sanderson sisters. So, first off, I absolutely adore them. I love them. Female aspect, and you probably would agree that
their characters.
Their costumes are pretty great.
Yes,
they're very intricate and they're very detailed.
Their lines are good. The chemistry between the characters are really good. The makeup. There's a reason why, even though these are supposed to be the villains and supposed to be kind of side characters, the reason why they're on the poster. Mm-hmm. They're the most likable part of this movie as far as characters go.
And I put in my notes, I said, they're a little bit like a 90s Three Stooges in the way that their characters played off of each other. One's always hitting the other one. One's over here doing something. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I was like, they're a little bit like the 90s Three Stooges. I loved the chemistry they made them have. Yeah. And, of course, Kathy Najimy's Mary character was the dumb one. She was the ditz. Sarah Jessica Parker's
with the weird face.
Oh my God. I was like, how could she just keep that face up the whole time? That's gotta be difficult. But and Sarah Jessica Parker's character, she was
the ditz.
She was a little bit of the slut. She was every boy she saw. She was like, "Ooh, let me play with them." And of course, Bette Midler, was the fucking.
She stole the show. She stole the show.
Bette Midler. She's very theatrical, and she was very showy, and it was. I mean,
but that
I don't
worked
know.
to the character's advantage for that type of character.
Exactly, and like I don't know who you could have picked to have played her. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I honestly thought the casting of her especially was spot on.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't be able to get someone in there that hadn't maybe previously done Broadway or big shows. You know what I mean? Okay, and Max. We got to talk about Max. I mean, you realize throughout the movie what an insufferable little shit he is. I mean, he's a fucking brat.
Well, and it's I don't know if it's necessarily a problem of just the writing in this movie or writing in Disney films in general. Again, these are supposed to be, the kid characters are supposed to be the most likable, the ones that you care about, so you hope that they overcome the evil of the three witches. Sadly, at least for me, and it might be nitpicking, I thought they were fairly bland. Even Thora Birch, who was least bland of all of them, even you admit, looking back on it, how do you feel about Thora Birch's character as the younger sister?
And we talked about this before, that I was like, rewatching it now, I don't like her character. I don't. She annoys me, and as a almost 30-year-old, I'm like, she's annoying to me. But when the movie came out, she was probably 10 years old, maybe 11. I was 6 when it came out, so I felt some relatability to her.
Well, yeah,
as a
that's
child.
Nostalgia going for you.
So,
you remember
exactly.
seeing that movie at that age, going, "Oh yeah, she was so fun then."
Yeah,
but even now,
so
you're like,
now I'm
not
like,
quite as much. But at least with her, she did have more character than the other two.
She did. She
had the better lines.
Even though she was the scaredy cat and she didn't want to go do this stuff, she still, at the end of the day, was like more of a badass than Allison.
Well, yeah, and I think it was even before they went to the cabin to wake the witches, there was that line when they go to this girl's house. Mm-hmm. And what exactly was the wording that she used?
Yabos?
Yabos, yes. Like, she tells Allison, "My brother likes your yabos." And I was like, that's kind of weird. Yeah,
it was weird. It was weird. And that brings us into Allison then. She did not look like a teenager.
She didn't look like a teenager, but it'd be hard for me to notice because she was pretty much set dressing through the whole movie.
Yeah.
She didn't have a character. She didn't really do anything. I mean, what scene was she very pivotal in on, like, saving anyone? She wasn't. It was Max.
The only thing that she did that was savior type was when she made it look like the sun was coming up in the house towards the end. You know what I mean? That was about it.
Yeah, that was about it. But as I said, they put the character in there for a love interest. They could have done better to give her more reason to be hanging around.
I think just my biggest gripe with her was just the fact that she didn't look like a teenager, and she kept giving sexy eyes a lot. Like, she was very much so like, hey,
well, she was doing sexy eyes, but let's admit, Max was doing full stalker through this movie.
Max was a little, like, when you sent me, he sent me a text earlier that was like, look at this fucking pervert, and it was a clip from the movie. And what did he say?
Yeah, here, and let's get to that, because basically that happens right after they release the witches. They escape, they go home, they're like, oh, scared. And then she sleeps in his room for a few hours, which I thought, dude, again, Disney films, should we be really, encouraging, like, teenagers to be, like, sneaking girlfriends or girls into their rooms to stay overnight? But they wake up, they go, like, into the hallway, and he opens his parents' door, and he's like, Mom? Dad? They're not here. And she's like, oh, yeah, and he's like, oh. And I was like,
what are you going to do with your
pervert? It's like, the parents aren't home. I can get some cop a feel.
Oh, God. It was weird. They were both creepy. They were both a little creepy.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about Ice and Jay.
Which I told you, I swore, that kid looks a lot like what's his face from Event Horizon.
Event Horizon,
He does look it, but it's not the same guy. But he does look a lot like him.
Yeah. So Ice and Jay, were the bullies. And they fucked with Max a little bit, and they're ridiculous, and they're very, very 90s. They're very 90s. Jay is like your grunge punk with the flannel and the leather jacket, and Ice is your white hip hop dude. Like,
Yes,
like
straight up vanilla ice.
Like Run DMC type, like garb. You know what I
fucking
mean?
Ice etched into his hair in the back of his head.
But they were funny. They were comedic. You know what I mean? They were
they reminded me of those two Stooge villain type characters in, oh God, what was that? It was Power Rangers back in the 90s. You know, same kind of just idiot bullies.
Yeah, but you know that they're gonna get theirs. You know what I mean? And it's still funny. Their characters and this shows you how dated the movie is when they're fucking with him in a cemetery. He's riding his bike through to go home, and they stop him there, and they're asking him for smokes or money. And they're like, oh, wait, we forgot. They're real, health conscious in L.A. and stuff. Well, what do you have to give us then? And Jay looks down at his feet and goes, oh, yeah. And he's like, check out the new cross trainers. And it, pans down. And it's just these,
Well, it's product placement.
At the time, those are probably a big deal. You look at them now and you're like, those are shoes my grandpa wears. They were just plain old Nike, just sneakers. You know what I mean? That nobody thinks are really cool anymore.
Well, and I think that was pretty lazy product placement, because later on they show that Mike has a bag that basically, when he's putting all the stuff in, it shows big Nike symbol and the words Nike underneath it right on the bag. I was like, way to be subtle with it. It's like, oh, look at the cross trainers, buy Nike.
Yeah. Another thing I really liked about the movie, though, was I liked the set designs, or the decorations on the house throughout when they're going trick or treating and stuff.
Yeah, I love the decorations.
And it made me question, man, I wonder if growing up in Salem is as awesome as they make it seem. It's just all fun. And
I remember when I was watching, I was like, man, I kind of wish I lived in Salem so I could actually get some fucking trick or treaters.
No shit, right? Well. And another thing I put down that I was like, I feel like those scenes perfectly encapsulated what fall is, because Texas is very lacking in fall. We don't have, I guess just the fall aesthetic even. You know what I mean? It's we don't have the trees that with changing the color. It depends on what
you
part
don't.
You're.
I do.
No, actually, surprisingly, down the country road, we do a little bit, but not East Coast fall. You know what I mean?
Well, East Texas, because East Texas is so much more different climate. We get a ton of the leaves browning, and it just looks like fall. But sadly, exactly where you're at, it's we got some trees, but not enough to really.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I'm I feel like it perfectly encapsulated what fall is, especially just, what the movie's about and stuff. I thought it was amazing.
And let's get to the point, which honestly is, again, the high point of the movie is the witches, their interaction with the normal world, the 90s world, that fish out of water stuff. I loved
their reaction to the modern world. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
One scene was also kind of creepy. The bus scene.
Oh, yeah. When Sarah Jessica Parker's sitting on the bus driver's lap.
Yeah, the bus driver's a skis, and he's like, sit on my lap and ride the bus. Hopefully we hit bumps.
It's so weird. It's you're just going to dry hump this man.
And again, I'm like,
jizz all over you.
And I remember, I was like, again, this is a Disney film.
But again, I think that's the stuff that would, at the time, have appealed to the adults who would be taking their kids to it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of kids now actually have a lot of stuff that you're like, should this even be in a kid's movie? And it's oh yeah, kids won't understand that. They don't know what that means. We watch it now, we're like, holy fuck. We're thinking, oh, she's gonna dry hump the guy. Kids don't think that. You know what I mean? But I loved, again, like we were talking about, I love their reactions to the modern world, with him lighting the Zippo. They're like, he can create fire in his hands. Oh my gosh. And then when they saw the road and they're like, it's a black river. And it's like, no, it's just a road. And I just love that stuff. And,
and what about the scene where they meet the devil?
Oh my God. Yeah. Played by Gary and Penny Marshall. They go to a house because they see the devil comes out, and he's like, oh, and he thinks it's just a costume. You know what I mean? He thinks it's a really great costume these chicks have done. And they keep calling him master, and they think he's Satan. And then they see his wife, and she's got these curlers in her hair, and they're like, oh, did you see the master married Medusa? You can see the snakes in her hair and stuff. It's stuff like that I thought was really funny about the movie.
Well, yeah, but as I said, that I think is, even for me, who does not necessarily like the movie, that was a strong part. That's where I'm like, these three women could be served in their own movie with no side story with kids, just interacting with the normal world, and it would be a great movie.
Yeah. I think, where did I have? And I actually had it about that too somewhere. I don't know. My notes are all fucking wonky and stuff. Anyways, but yeah, I love them in those scenes. And after that, when they leave the house, because she kicks them out because he keeps flirting with them, and Sarah Jessica Parker keeps flirting with him. She kicks them out, and they realize that their brooms have been stolen
by 3 girls dressed exactly like them. They were like mini-me versions of the witches.
Yes. And I love that later on in the movie, when they have to take off, they get the brooms from the house, and Mary, Kathy Najimy's character, is stuck with a fucking Hoover vacuum.
Well, yeah, but Sarah Jessica Parker's, she didn't have a broom. She had a mop.
Yes. So Winifred got the broom, Sarah got the mop, and she had a vacuum. And it's so funny because when she swings it under, she kind of makes a groaning noise like she swung it too hard into her fucking vagina. And then doesn't it get stuck or something like that? Or no,
yeah, something like that later on, I think.
I don't know. But it's hilarious. She's fucking riding a vacuum. And it's just those little scenes with them that are perfect.
That's
you know what I
mean?
Movie. Yeah. I think my favorite scene throughout the movie, though, would have to be and it's a little bit, probably about 30 minutes towards the end, the party scene at the town hall. And that's where the families are. Max and Danny's mom and dad are at the town hall. It's a Halloween costume party. And I love that scene because they're being chased by the sisters, and they run and they're trying to tell them, they're like, you've had too much candy. Otherwise, most people would be like, what drugs are you on? You know what I mean?
Are you smoking marijuana?
No shit. And the sisters go in, and when they do that, 2-3 minute long scene of them singing "I Put a Spell on You" and everybody's dancing because they were putting a spell on the townfolk, basically making them.
As annoying as musical numbers usually are to me,
that one was great.
I thought that was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed it, which is surprising.
I thought no, and you know me, I hate musicals. I hate musical numbers as well, but that one I just thought was great because I love this song, so I think it worked really well. And so she was putting a spell on them to basically make them dance till they die. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's your favorite, but the one of my favorite came, I think, just right before that, because they're being chased by these witches and they're like very scared. They go to a cop, on a motorcycle cop, and Thora Birch is like, "Yeah, my brother lit this candle, and, because he's a virgin." And the cop's like, "Wait, you're really a virgin?"
It's like he's like 16 years old.
Yeah, it was like he's like 14, 15, 16-ish. This is a Disney film. Should we be like going, why is a 15-year-old a virgin?
He can't be 14.
But the joke finally pays off when they leave and a girl comes out and you find out he's not a cop. He's a guy in a cop outfit as a costume. Yeah. I was like, okay.
And that's another thing is everybody had kind of cool costumes. Like the mom was dressed as Madonna with like the comb bra and stuff. Yeah, it was the 90s and she Madonna had the mic and everything. Yeah. I thought it was kind of neat. I was like, the dad was a vampire, and I loved the guy that was singing on stage as the skeleton. That was a fucking cool costume. Like me and Adam were supposed to have our wedding ceremony next Halloween, and I told my best friend Chris, who's supposed to officiate, I told him I want him to dress up as that. I was like, that would be kind of fun. So we'll see if he'll do it. But I've always liked that. The costumes are, the ones you do see are kind of neat. And I really did still like Thora Birch's costume. It's like a simple witch costume, but it's cute. It's like for a little girl, it's cute, and it looks like it's like handmade. It looks like the mom did. I don't know. It just looks really neat. I'm like, fuck, I can't even fucking.
No, Max's costume.
No. Allison's costume before she got changed into her normal clothes, it
was okay.
Rich. No, that was just that wasn't even fun Halloween costume. It was just
it was okay because at least she tried to do something on Max, who was like, I'm just gonna dress up as what did he say he was dressed up as? I can't even remember, but his dad asked him earlier.
I forgot what he said he was dressed up at. Oh, what did the dad say? Oh, as a rapper. That's what he was, a rapper. And he goes, well, you got to turn your hat to the side then. And so he's just, again, it brings you back to he's a fucking little shit.
He's a shit. He's a dull shit and also kind of a pervy shit at the same time.
And I did read, funny enough, I read that the role was originally they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play in it. Which I was like, okay, yeah, I put that in there and my thing with what? Like that could have been weird.
Could have been weird. I think he might have been able to do more with the character than this kid did.
Yeah.
A lot more.
And again, going back to Billy Butcherson, Doug Jones' character, I loved him. And actually,
and the makeup looked good.
To scare me when I was little, like he was the one that freaked me out.
I thought that was honestly the perfect balance of like, yes, it's a zombie, yes, it's kind of creepy, but at the same time, it's that Disney creepy, not necessarily super menacing, kind of like, oh, this is cool, kind of feeling going on with it. I love the makeup. I loved, like, he's always been good in suits. I mean,
exactly. And I love that
he played in Hellboy. He was Abe Sapien.
Oh, no.
I believe so. Yeah, Abe Sapien, the little creature from the Black Lagoon.
Gotcha.
And I was like, he did well. He's always good in those kind of weird, quirky roles where he has to wear, like, some sort of full body makeup.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't watch that, so I don't know. But I always liked his character, even though you get him towards the end and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He finally has lines.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. So apparently when he, like, cut his mouth and those moths came out, apparently they were real moths, too. Which I was like,
dude, dedication to the role. Like, full-on method actors, like, well, do you want to have, like, piece of paper? Fuck that, I want moths.
Yeah.
Well, you know you're going to have your mouth shut for quite a while because we have to actually film the scene,
Well,
he's like, it's okay.
Another thing I had put on my notes that I wanted to talk about real quick, and it's just a small scene, but when they were talking about getting the salt and, and she reads the back of the salt, and she's like, oh, used to protect against witches and zombies. When I was little, I legit thought that that's what it said on the back of the salt can. So when I would go and look, I'm like, it doesn't fucking say that. Like, I legit thought that was
You got
real.
chipped. You got the wrong salt.
Yeah, I was like, well, my can doesn't say that. Maybe my parents didn't buy the right one. Like, no, I was disappointed that it didn't say that, but I actually did think it was a real thing. So I had read that it was originally, and yes, Walt Disney Studios bought it, but it was originally going to be a Disney movie, like put onto Disney Channel kind of thing.
So based on a TV movie?
That's what they wanted to do. And then they realized that with the script, they could reach a wider audience if they put in big names and all this stuff.
And you know what? I think that was the right move, especially for that time, because as I was saying, 90s Disney live action movies, that was when they were slowly phasing out of animated, and their live action to a certain degree was not that good. This, out of all of them, I think is probably one of the best, which is why I'm glad they did put it, to give the extra amount of money to costumes to, Bette Midler, who just made this movie what it was.
And another thing I liked was I liked the score. I liked the soundtrack for it. I thought, I don't know, and it was apparently composed and conducted by John Debney. I don't know. I've always liked it. And then James Horner wrote the theme song for Sarah Jessica Parker, that "Come Little Children" song.
Oh, the little lullaby
and
thing.
She performed it herself, of course, whatever. But like, I guess James Horner was originally supposed to be the guy who did it, but he had to go do something else. So this guy stepped in and did the whole score. Like, I don't know. I like it. I always just think it's fun, and it fits perfectly.
The musical bits were very good. I like those. Even with Sarah Jessica Parker, which I'm not a fan of.
Like, I don't even know if that's on vinyl anywhere or anything, but I would like it to be. That would be kind of fun.
Might be.
I think what I liked about it, like, okay, I'm like, the script, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought the characters, for the most part, some of them, like the Sanderson sisters and stuff, I like those characters are great. The action itself was a little entertaining, like when they were finally coming to they were kind of battling each other throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And it was still fun. I mean, it had some good effects and everything, you know what I mean? It wasn't a terrible movie.
Yeah, that was a thing that I kind of realized throughout watching it. It's like, I didn't like it then, don't necessarily love it now, because of only a few things that kind of thought, for me, just kind of made me go, eh. But because, like, it has everything you said. Good story. Mm-hmm. Good story.
It was fun. It was a fun story.
The witches' characters were good. The bully characters were good. The mother and dad characters are kind of bland, but then again, every kid's movie has bland characters for parents.
Yeah, because you don't even see them.
And it has everything except for, like, even Thora Birch. Annoying, but interesting.
Yeah.
Sadly, Allison and Max, though, as I said before, I think that's what kind of messes it up for me. It's like, if they would have been a little bit better written, given way better lines, because I think Max's lines were just kind of the way he and Allison acted. They didn't give Allison anything to do. So you didn't necessarily feel anything for two of the main characters. They were the ones that were supposed to save the day. So when they finally do save the day, you're like, whenever it came to the point where Max is like drinking this, so he's like, you have to take me now. I was like, kill him. Kill him, please. Do it. I don't care at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I once you started bringing that up to me, I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Like, yeah, the kid characters themselves weren't very entertaining. They weren't very,
and for the story they were trying to tell, that was important to get right. Yeah. You know, if it was just a movie about just the witches interacting, they would have had that movie covered because they got that casting, that writing perfect. Yeah. But for a movie about three kids that are trying to stop these evil witches, you need to feel something for those kids.
Yeah.
You need to like them or hate them completely. But if you're just kind of sitting there going, bland, that's not good for a movie. Yeah.
And I mean, I can see why it became a cult Halloween movie. Like, I understand why. It was a fun Halloween movie. It was cute. It was a little heartwarming. It points, with Thackeray and stuff like that, the cat, which we never really talked about, but, it's just a talking cat.
Well, the cat that we see actually run over, which, again, Disney film?
Oh, my God. And when you see his body, like, puff back up, it freaked me out. I just thought it was a good children's movie about witches and Halloween, and
it's still good for a kid's movie. I definitely agree. And you can tell, I guess, when they were doing marketing, they realized what kind of movie they had. It's like, well, for the movie we set out to make, well, it's not working for the kids because the kids kind of suck. So let's just focus on the things that work, the witches.
Yeah. And
for that purpose, that movie succeeds as a Halloween movie that kids can watch, timeless fairly.
Or even, me as an adult, it still resonates with me as an adult. Mostly, a lot of it nostalgia but it's just fun, like rewatching it again today. I was just like, fuck, this movie's fun. You know what I mean? I've seen it so many times. And I wanted to talk about, before we finish here, last Halloween, a couple days before Halloween, me and Adam bought tickets to, it was a girls' night, draft house experience with the movie. And it was a quote along also. And I was really excited about it because I found out my neighbor really loves Hocus Pocus. Mm-hmm. So bought tickets for me, her, and Adam, and we went, and it was a fucking blast. Like, they gave us like little lighters and little broomstick pens and stuff, and it was a quote along, so everybody was singing along and quoting the movie of like the quotable parts and stuff. And it was a really, really fun experience watching it on the big screen, which I'd never seen it on the big screen. So it was really neat. And halfway through the movie, I find out that Adam had never seen it before. I leaned over and I'm like, oh God, don't you love this scene? He goes, yeah, it's great. I've never seen this movie before. I can't believe it. What? I was like, why didn't you tell me this before we went in? I probably would have been like way more amped up going, oh my God, I'm with someone who's never seen this movie before. Like, I'm going to have to like stare at him the whole time and see how he reacts. But he ended up loving it. Like, he thought it was really fun and stuff. But of course, at the time, a 37-year-old man, he was probably like, he was like, no, it was fun. He's like you, where he was just like, yeah, it was a fun movie. It's, maybe if he had watched it when I don't know, maybe not when he was younger, but you know what I mean? Like, it was a different experience for him, but it was really cool to be able to see it in the theaters, which it did give it a different feel.
Yeah, seeing anything in the theaters definitely gives it a different feel than watch on TV.
Yeah. That's all I got for this.
That's about it for me too.
Kind of pretty put out our thoughts on this. I love it. You're still...
I don't necessarily love it. I do like the witches. If you watch it for the witches and their interaction, then it's definitely worth watching and enjoying.
Yeah. It's a fun movie if you have kids now to show them.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. And
if you can get past, the lighters, the run over cats, the weird sexual vibe that the kids are giving each other.
I wouldn't necessarily say that you would enjoy it if it was your first time watching it now. Like, if you're an adult, you might not. I don't know. It just depends. Who knows? I can't really say.
It's a harmless Halloween movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. Well, next week we are going to be doing, I don't know, did we decide what we were going to do next week?
Did we?
We talked about
See,
Night
we're
of the
always prepared, huh?
Oh, don't ever say we're not. We were talking the other day about possibly doing Night of the Demons.
Yes, we kind of agreed on that, but I wasn't sure if we were.
I think we're going to do that one.
Night of the Demons.
Okay. Here you are, guys. You're watching us plan stuff
just
right
flying
now.
by the seat of our pants.
That's how we do it. That's why we're always pissed off. So yes, next week then we will be doing Night of the Demons. And like I said last week in our video, Ash will be here for Halloween when we will be doing our Roseanne Halloween episodes video, which should be pretty amazing. We might have on a guest, possibly.
Yes, hopefully.
It'd be fun. Anyways, but that's it for Hocus Pocus on our Halloween edition of Horror Huddle, you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next week.
Take care.